I'm going to quickly struggle through the box before I get to the actual headphones. In true Hifi-man fashion, the box itself is very high quality, very huge. And if you've seen my HE-400i review, that also had a similarly huge box, but this is even more premium. So let's open it up. Got two sets of air cups that this comes with. One is velour and one is leather. Both are, I think, are quite subpar. I've replaced mine with the focus pads which have come out since then. Ordered them from China. You've got the same kind of synthetic material to hold the headphones in place that the HE-400i box has. This one is held in place though. So, besides that, besides these two air pads, you've got this bag, which isn't quite dustproof. It's also velour-ish. You've got the manual. You've got this silver cable, which I haven't really been using, but I did use for amp comparisons. I've been using a balance cable with my liquid carbon. It's it's a silver cable, not very high quality in my opinion. And of course you've got the old traditional Hifi-man connectors right there, the screw-ons. Alright, now to the headphones themselves. So, this is the HE-500 by Hifi-man. And this came out several years ago and has since been discontinued. But the reason I'm talking about it right now is because I got my hands on it fairly recently. I've done a few little mods myself, in terms of materials added to it. And thus, I find them to be a very, very enjoyable listen. And I'd like to talk about them in case you want to pick one up on the used market, because there are quite a few left. In fact, earlier this year, Hifi-man actually sold a bunch of official refurbished ones of these for about $400, which is a good deal actually. So, discontinued product. Now you can get the HE-560 instead of this, which has a more wooden kind of design. I haven't had my hands on one, I haven't really listened to one, but that's how it looks like. This, on the other hand, has a lot of solid, thick metal. Like, this is built like a tank. This metal right here, like, compared to the aluminium that the HE-400i that I used to uses, this is just thick as heck. This also adds to the weight. This weighs over a pound. It's heavier than my ZMF Omni even. And just generally not a very comfortable pair of headphones, guys, because even this on top, this padding, is not very much. It's very thin. Also, there's a metal strip in here, which is why I've been using a pilot pad on top. This is a ZMF pilot pad. It comes for about, I don't remember what the price was, but I just have it on top of this and it adds to the comforts. Also, these air pads, like I said earlier, the stock air pads, not very good, guys. They come with two sets, velour and protein leather. This, on the other hand, is a Focus Pad A. This is what my HE-400i used to use, and I've since ordered these from China because I find them to be very comfortable and very good for the sound. It retains the sound characteristics to the HE-500, sorry, but it also gives you more comfort, more padding. And it just generally looks better in my opinion too. So, discontinued pair of headphones. Why am I talking about it now? Because of the sound quality. It's just, guys, I have been reviewing so many fun pairs of headphones like the THX100, the ZMF Omni, and I have an upcoming review on the Meze Classic 99s and all these fun tunings. Haven't really reviewed a fairly neutral pair of headphones since the HE-400i. So I wanted to go into, I've sold that by the way, so this is what I have now. I wanted something which was fast and punchy, which also had a neutral character to it, but it didn't extend too much into treble because I'm a bit treble sensitive in that regard. So I got this on the used market on HeadFi, some guy I think in Italy. I got it from him. I love these headphones. I hate how they feel. I hate how the weight can sometimes get a bit too much and I can't wear for hours and hours on end. I have a strong neck, but hours and hours on end, it gets a bit too much, even with the pilot pad. But I love how they sound. The sound quality, let's start with the bass. The HE-400i had a bit of a mid-bass bump in my opinion. I didn't really hear it at the time because I was comparing it to the Vibro at the time, which has a lot of mid-bass. But compared to this has a very lean mid-bass, very lean, very clean. This has more extension in the sub-bass though than the HE-400i. So a little more extension in the sub-bass, but overall it's not a very bassy pair of headphones. It's very balanced. If you gave this to a bass head, he would not be impressed really. The mids, however, are the main selling point of these headphones. The mids are spectacular. They're very liquid, very sweet sounding mids. You've got vocals stand out really nicely. The balance and the separation, because the Soundstage is also really great, better than the HE-400i. Soundstage and the separation of vocals, layering, and production and the guitars and stuff just sound immensely amazing on these headphones. The acoustic guitars don't sound as, say, realistic as on my ZMF Omni, but even so, it sounds extremely good on these. And the whole balance of the whole... You see, I wanted a pair of neutral headphones to listen to stuff like classic rock, orchestral music, and the few times I listened to that, and rock music in general, metal even. Because these are very good for metal as well. And why is that? Because they are very fast. The transients are very fast. You've got very fast and punchy bass. There's very little decay, so nothing is going to linger where it shouldn't, and you can hear that double kick drum in songs, metal songs, very easily, very clearly. And the guitars, they just sound very biting and very, very rugged on each cup. What you need to understand though about these headphones is that, okay, you got the bass, it extends quite low, but it's not very overpowering. That leaves a lot of cleanliness for the rest of the frequencies, which makes classic rock like Pink Floyd and stuff, which on my THX100 completely gets drowned out by the low end. All the intricate guitar work and the little synth layering and all that gets drowned out by the low end on my THX100. But on this, everything is exactly how it should be, with planar bass and extension. Even on my ZMF Omni, the problematic recordings, such as bands like Led Zeppelin with more traditional recording methods, very organic sound, this does extremely well with that. This will play all of Jimmy Page's work very, very, very easily. Like, it's very effortless. This is an effortless pair of headphones to listen to because nothing will be hidden in the mix. They are very detailed. But the detail is also not at the cost of warmth. This is not a sterile pair of headphones. You're not going to listen to this and be like, oh, that sounds so cold, that sounds so harsh, that sounds so this or that. No, this is a very inviting and warm pair of headphones. And I've gone a bit further and I've been using it with my liquid carbon. But even when I use it with my transparent Magni 2, this still sounds very warm, very inviting. Now, warmth is something that some people say if you have a warm pair of headphones, you're kind of missing out on the detail and the resolution. That has been the case with some headphones that I've had, like the Omni. But this, no, this does very well with details. I can listen to, let's say, a Game of Thrones theme song as it should sound. The thundering drums, present. The excellent string section is very present on this. Please check out the link in the description to my written review on Hi-Fi, and you can see all the different songs that I've listened to this on and given my impressions for a good comparison with my other headphones. Like, I have similar songs in my THX100 review. So, just a very, I'm not going to say fully uncomfortable pair of headphones, because with certain modifications like the focus pads and the pilot pad, it is comfortable. It's just, it weighs you down after a while. And by a while, I mean a few hours. I'm not saying immediately. Like, I guess if you don't have a very strong neck, or if you're not, used to like holding heavy headphones up, you might find this too much for you, but I'm quite used to it. It would take me a few hours of wearing this, let's say 4 or 5 hours of wearing this, to feel like, okay, I need a break. That is not bad for me. That is a good amount of listening, comfortable listening, in my opinion. But that is a huge knock against these headphones. That is a full half-star point I would take off from these headphones, simply for the build and the weight. However, there are mods that exist online. I've seen like on forums and like stuff that people have talked about removing this band and this metal part, and replacing it with the chassis of the HE-400i, for instance. Like they'll just do a whole transplant, and then you have HE-400i written right here instead of HE-500, even though it's a 500 pair of headphones. I found that quite interesting, but I don't really want to do that myself because I'm not much of a tinkerer, and I really don't want to ruin anything by accident. So I'll just make do with this because the sound is incredible. Now let's talk about the Soundstage. This has a vast soundstage, much more than the HD600 when I used to have them, much more than the HE400i when I used to have them, much more than obviously the THX100, which is like more closed off. This is open, by the way, if you don't know already. Open, no isolation at all, so lots of sound leakage, just so you know. The ZMF Omni comes a bit close because that's a semi-open design. But even further, this goes even further than that. There's a lot of great imaging going on in these headphones. If you listen to if you watch ASMR videos, if you're listening to 3-directional audio, it will all be very, very good, very lifelike. The only headphones that I've owned, full-size headphones that I've owned that have more soundstage than this, even that by a slight amount, would be the DT990 by Beyerdynamic, which I sold months ago. So this comes second in regards to that. This is first in regards of mids. I find the mids of this to be much more pleasant than any other pair of headphones that I've had, only followed in the second place by the HD600 and then the ZMF Omni in third place. The bass, there's not much bass. Like I said earlier, the bass amount is not that much. You will not hear a lot of bass heads will not be very pleased by this, but it is very punchy and very pleasing for lots of genres of music. If you want to have more bassy headphones, you can check out the THX100 for stuff like rap or EDM. I wouldn't really recommend this to be used with rap or EDM and stuff, unless the rap has a lot of layering and a lot of intricate stuff going on, like in, let's say, Dr. Dre's Chronic album, which has a lot of instrumentation in the beats. This does really well with that. So, speed, very liquid, pleasing mids. Oh, the treble, sorry, I forgot to talk about the treble. The treble extends very, very far, but it doesn't reach the point where it reaches sibilance. This will never sound sibilant to you, which to me is an amazing thing in headphones, because if I wanted, sometimes the ZMF Omni can seem a little stuffy to me because, you know, it has rolled off treble. Not that much, but let's say it reaches up to an 8 out of 10 in terms of treble. This goes up to 9.5. That extra half point it rolls off prevents sibilance. The HE400i had a further extending treble than this, but that could reach sibilance sometimes with certain songs and genres of music. So this is a very comfortable pair of headphones, but has a lot of resolution as well, and a lot of analytical listening can be done with this. That is an achievement in my eyes, because usually there's a trade-off in those two things, in my view. Like you can either have the treble, extended treble, or you can have like the cymbals won't sound as clear if they're a little rolled off. Cymbals sound great on this, nice, and they extend very well. They go far. Like the reverb on the cymbals and stuff, just fantastic. This is a fantastic pair of headphones. If you can get your hands on these, I would recommend them. I'm not sure how many there are in the world floating around, but if you do find a good deal on them, then definitely try them out. If you love the fast planar sound of Hifi-man headphones, definitely check out this. This is, of course, their older design. If you want that really warm sound, because the HE400i was not warm like this. It wasn't a very pleasing pair of headphones. It was more sharp in its attack and everything. Even though I feel like this has more speed than the HE400i did. So, just generally speaking, guys, very, very pleasing pair of headphones. I'm very happy with this purchase that I've made, and I hope Hifi-man brings something back in this. A more comfortable model of this back, because I don't think the HE-560 is similar in sound to this. From what I've read, it's a bit different. So, that's been my review, and thank you for watching.